Hi there, welcome to Soundpaint. Welcome to our free songwriting guitar. This library consists of 3 different songwriting guitars, a beautiful Martin acoustic, a Stratocaster recorded through a real amp with a tiny bit amount of crunch on it, so it's kind of like a little bit fuzzy. And then we have a 7-string more metallic guitar in the library as well. So for songwriting purposes, we can decide whether we want an acoustic, whether we want an electric, or whether we want a more heavy electric. Or, in other words, this library is all about songwriting. It's all about realistic strumming on the keys, something that's notoriously difficult to do with MIDI. The keyboard just doesn't lend itself particularly well to strumming, but I think we've figured that one out. Songwriting guitar consists of 3 guitars that are each recorded in every single key for both major and minor chords. It's kind of staggering when you look at music how much music is actually only relying on major or minor chords, and I feel for me that's where the song most commonly begins. So that's really what this library is all about. In addition to having major and minor scales and unique notes on every single key, we had to do them in different kind of rhythms because that's what strumming is all about. We recorded a multitude of rhythms that are laid out on the keyboard. All of them have major and minor chords on every single key. And by combining the different rhythms, by using our rack offset in Soundpaint, and particularly using our new PCM time stretcher, which is a super high resolution time stretcher, we can pretty much make whatever groove we want out of it, but to the benefit that it's always going to sound completely real. Like, to me, and it's not for the lack of trying, we've built dozens of different guitars and strummers. I've just learned over the years that there's nothing better than a real guitar. But I often find myself in the studios like, real guitar. Okay, I just want to get an idea going, but now I have to set up a microphone. I have to pick up the guitar. I have to start recording. I have to process that somehow or get into the DAW or cut it or chop it or tempo sync it, whatever. Like, it takes time and that can bring me out of my flow. This library is all about just getting you right there, right away into the flow. And then maybe later on you pick out a real guitar and really play it through. But this is pretty close, and I would argue that in many cases this library is more than enough to do a complete song. We'll see that in the demo here. We're just going to be playing with some presets, but out of them I hear full, rich, beautiful songs. Welcome to Songwriting Guitar. Welcome to Soundpaint.
I don't know what to sing. Can't think of anything. Oh no. The words they fade away till I don't feel anything. And so I'll never sing. Why does he make me sing? Won't lead to anything. Go back to Denmark, leave your Hangdrum behind. Don't make me try to sing. Oh no.
that's essentially songwriting guitar for you right there. Now, if you look here at the bottom of the keyboard, we'll notice that there's something called Mellow Song here in the UI that marks one particular rhythm played with the songwriting guitar. But as we go through the octaves here, we have different kind of rhythms. You'll see them marked here in the UI as well. Let me just try the one called Active Song. It has a notably more sort of percussive strumming to it. So it's a notably different style of strumming versus up here. And if we hold down the key, it's actually a longer groove. Let's just say that I want that last dang dang and just isolate that. I'm gonna go into offset here. Just around here, and then go into like to the detail here. It just goes to show that by going into a phrase, we can sculpt new rhythms out of them. We can also play two of them together. That would equal 4 guitars because we're stereo tracked for all these recordings. If you really want your MTV Unplugged kind of vibe, that's the way to do it. Like even up here where we played before, this rhythm is different now as well because we used the offset. Versus what it sounds like if we take offset all the way down here. So as you can see, we can clearly sculpt new rhythms out of the existing rhythms here just by using offset. Now, this was just playing major strums. We also have minor strums in the exact same architecture here. And with this accent 147, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, let's try offset a little further into this phrase. That's a cool rhythm. So we could throw a time stretch on this one here. Let me make it like 25% faster. The phrase is completely preserved. This is our new high resolution time stretcher for our PCM format. Let's try it like at 50%. It's still good. We can go up to X2 here. But let's try to go like the other way down here and go a little bit lower than the core speed. There's just such a like visceral nature in here. You can just hear the strums. Now, that was just dabbling with the acoustic guitar. We also have a beautiful Stratocaster 54 here. It's recorded through a real amp with microphones. This library is all about just embracing like true natural acoustics, the humanity in the sound, all the shit that AIs can't do. We also have the same rhythms as before, so we'll detect that we're having the same sort of grooves we heard with the acoustic guitar. I love this one. There's so many like unique percussive feels in this thing. Let's try to go a little bit in it here with offset. And time works beautiful together with offset as well. Here's our heavy guitar. It's like the electric, but it's played with a 7-string. It just has a little more like oomph, like super heavy rock. I would say this is more for like metal and like heavy rock. Now, we can also combine different rhythms together. Sometimes I like to sort of DJ around and just create new rhythms, but by combining different fragments. I can just hear the dust, the scratches, like the dirt on the guitar. I can also really hear, particularly on this one here, how double-tracked it is. You can't get that fat sound without recording 2 times and playing them hard in your stereo field. It takes time well too. Oh, that's kind of... Just have fun with them that way, you know? But equally important for me is also sometimes to have different kind of resources that will inspire me. So one thing is to have traditional chords here, but what about having licks? Like little melodic fragments that I can DJ around on the keyboard and just make new songs out from. So sort of 2 different approaches to songwriting. One thing is our chords, another one is these solo licks. So very simplistic, sometimes melodic, sometimes kind of arpeggiated licks. We have them down here for crunch, and then we have them up here with distorted. These are different on every single key. We have a unique lick. So there are hundreds of them. Oh yeah. Doom, doom. You can also use them as solo, so if you use the Songwriting Guitar, you can add these licks on top and just like... and just like feel you have a solo guitar on top. We can also try to make a new groove here. So let's program a new one here, like... let's see what that sounds like. Oh, that's cool. It sort of have a triplet feel. I'm gonna take the release and move it down a little bit so there's not so much overlap. I love that. That's totally a surprise. So this one is playing in triplets. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here is yet another one, but this time an arpeggiation using electric guitar. this actually completely feels like a full-on song here. Here's another electric combination. In this case here, we'll notice that the BPM is set to 75 here inside of the ARP, but that's because I'm using the time stretcher here. Everything was recorded natively at 120, everything syncs at 120, and when I use the time stretcher, if I click this mark up here, it's gonna make all the parts sync to the time. Everything inside of Songwriting Guitar is completely tempo synced, so no matter what rhythm we play, no matter what guitar, and even our licks are tempo synced to the strummers as well. So we can actually combine the two here. This is just me taking the major strums here and throwing some solo licks on top of it. Kind of like just a commercial right there. Also, check this one out here. I love this guy. That's a song in my ears right there. Here's a little program that's playing the solo licks. This is really an homage to the great, wonderful guitar player, like so sensual in his playing, The Edge. And to wrap it all up, our one finger power patch here.